Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Angela Anderson Show, where we are helping moms live their dream while taking care of their families. I am so excited that you are here with me today. And I just want to tell you how and why I created this show. It's a result of a virtual summit that I hosted the summer of 2022. It was called Get Your Life on Track, Walk in Your Purpose. And the focus was on mothers, just like this show, and the mothers who wanted to identify their purpose and live it fully while taking care of their family. That is the central theme here, if you haven't noticed. For 14 days during this summit, I interviewed top speakers, influencers. They shared their information, great tips that assisted mothers in finding their purpose, pursuing their goals, and living their dream, all while taking care of their family. So there was such a popular demand for this. I created this talk show where I'm going to continue to empower moms out there to see their value, understand their importance, and reclaim their identity. So here we are um, in another episode. And today, I want to talk to you about priorities. It's a word that familiar to most people. But how do we define this and where do we fit in when it comes to priorities as a mom? So before I get into that, I want to go to a quick commercial and we'll be right back.
Someone once said that life is a journey. Every now and then I convince myself that I have it all figured out. All of a sudden, life throws me a curveball and I find myself between a rock and a hard place. Through it all, the pervading theme is that God is constantly pursuing me. Just when I thought I knew God, He reveals Himself to me in a different way. I now realize that His purpose is to achieve a deeper level of intimacy with me, no matter what it takes. His main concern is the end result, which is to live with Him in eternity. He loves me that much, and the same holds true for you.
All right, we are back. That was an excerpt from the introduction of my devotional. I hope if you haven't gotten a copy yet, please go ahead and purchase a copy for you, for that special person in your life, or even for that mom in your life. I think it's something that everyone will enjoy. So, as I said, we're going to talk about priorities today. Priorities. Um, you know, um, do you notice as a mom, and maybe it's just me, but I have a feeling it's not. Do you notice that everyone else seems to be a priority in our lives when it comes to just the day to day, the everyday? And first of all, what is a priority, right? Now, everyone knows that a priority is something that's important, something that you deem important, that you spend extra time and energy and you put at the top of the list. That's what a priority is. And so, from day to day, people have different priorities. For instance, usually the necessities of life are priorities, right? Everyone can agree you have to eat, right? Food, proper nourishment. Some people really care what they eat, and we should. Some people don't, as long as they eat. um, what else? Shelter. Everyone needs a roof over their head. It would be nice, right? Um, Clothing. Some of the other things, finances. We can go on and on about priorities, but let's talk about people, right? Who do you consider a priority in your life? You could say, well, as a mom, your children, right? I think that children take up a lot of our time. And whether they're little ones, babies, even sometimes adult children can take up a lot of time. Some go off on their own, do their own thing, but a lot of times our hearts are just connected to our children. And so we focus on them. Other priorities, obviously, people in your family members, maybe a spouse or extended family, grandparents, parents, you know, aunts, uncles, etc. But for the most part, I would say as a mom, children are probably at the top of the list. Which brings me to this. As you were listening and I'm asking you these questions, um, who do you consider a priority, or what is a priority? Did anyone say, I am a priority? I, as a mom, I fill in the blank, so and so, am a priority. If you did, that's wonderful. Congratulations. But I bet you not many of you came to mind when you thought of yourself as being a priority. Now, why is that? As a mom, we are so used to um, putting others before us, making sure everyone else's needs are taken care of before our own. It almost makes us feel better if we put ourselves last, or if we put ourselves somewhere at the bottom of the list. But I'll tell you this, moms, that's just not the best thing to do. Let me give you an example. And I was just thinking this as I'm talking. So whenever my family is invited somewhere for lunch, or let's just say a potluck or something, or somewhere where you serve, even if you go to lunch, if it's a buffet, something like that, whether it's formal, casual, whatever. And I just noticed this about myself. I always have to make sure my kids are eating before I'm comfortable to sit down, make my own plate and sit down and eat it and actually enjoy it. I don't know why that is. And a lot of times I will just either scan the room. If they're not near me, let's just say they're off playing with their friends, and my 10-year-old, he's old enough to get his own food, but my 5-year-old, not quite yet. He would need some help serving his food and things like that. But sometimes I have to get after my 10-year-old to know, stop playing, sit down and eat. Look at these selections. What do you want to eat? Let's get your plate, you know. Or I'll say to my husband, can you make sure that so and so eats, and I'll make sure that this person eats, that type of thing. But a lot of times, sometimes my friends will say, Angela, sit down and eat. And for some reason, I just feel like if they're not eating, that I shouldn't be eating. And of course, that is not the right mindset to have, especially if they're not hungry, or especially if they're just not going to eat right now. But again, it's that mom thing where we're always putting someone else's needs in front of our own. So, um, you know, I'm thinking about this, and um, there's another example that comes to mind. And I'm sure all of you have heard of this example before, and it's something that I talk about in my master class. So, for those of us who have experienced air travel, one of the things when you're seated um, in the cabin, and the flight attendants will get up and do their presentation and safety and et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things that they will say, if the cabin pressure somehow gets low, one of the things that they will tell you to do is that the oxygen masks are going to be deployed. And once those oxygen masks are deployed, they tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first before you put it on someone else. So, for instance, if you're sitting next to a child, if you're sitting next to someone who might need assistance, put your oxygen mask on first until, or before rather, you put on the oxygen mask of the people next to you or the little people next to you. So, why do you think that is? Let's think about this for a second. Obviously, you're not going to be able to help anyone if you're not able to breathe. It's that simple. You're not able to assist anyone in that regard with the oxygen. You can't help anybody if you're not able to breathe. If you're not living, you cannot help others. And if we take that in a practical way, if we really evaluate it, how can we help other people if we don't take care of ourselves? Especially as a mom, we are constantly giving, 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 doing, 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 thinking about the next thing. And, very seldom thinking about ourselves, just trying to do everything and be everything for everyone. But today I want to talk about, as I was saying, making yourself a priority, making yourself a priority. And for the next few minutes, let's just talk about some ways that we can actually do this. Okay. The first way is just simple self awareness. Let's just call it self awareness. And I go over this in more detail in my master classes. But self awareness is exactly what it says. You're aware of yourself. You're discovering who you are. You're discovering what you like. You're discovering what makes you tick. And I actually did a whole episode on that, on mission statements. You could go back a few episodes on YouTube and look at that. So we're not going to get into detail, but self awareness is so important so that you can understand yourself and be able to function, right, in this capacity as a mom, as well as all the other roles that are assigned to you, or sometimes we assign to ourselves, right? But self awareness is the utmost importance because once you start understanding yourself, I guarantee you'll start treating yourself a lot differently and a lot better. Again, we can do a whole episode on that alone, and I do cover that in my masterclass for moms. Um, Another thing, take time to celebrate you. What does that mean? Celebrate you. Well, a lot of times we're sitting here, and I said we do this, we do that, we accomplish this, we accomplish that, and it's almost like we just check it off the list and keep going without saying, like, man, yeah, I did that. I did that thing. You know, there's nothing wrong with patting yourself on the back and saying, wow, either I accomplished what I set out to accomplish today, or if you didn't, I accomplished two things today. I accomplished one thing today. A lot of times we sit there and like, oh, I didn't get anything done today, you know, but there must be something that was done. There's something that you're happy about or something that you've achieved, but it's probably unnoticed because we're so hard on ourselves all the time, moms. We do that to ourselves. So take time to celebrate you, even if it means just going to, your local Starbucks if you like Starbucks and get yourself a beverage. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I like tea. Um, or get yourself one of the pastries or little muffins or something like that. Um, go get yourself a an Italian ice. There's this place down the street where I am in Florida called Jeremiah's, and I absolutely love all their flavors and how you can mix them around and do all these things with them. But give yourself a reward, celebrate you. Um, and if you can't find something to celebrate yourself, celebrate the fact that you got through the day and you're a mom. That that's enough. That is something to celebrate. But again, it's being aware, right? And noticing the things about you and around you and not being ashamed to say, you know what? Let's talk about what I did actually do and not what I didn't do. It's just a matter of flipping it, right? Flipping your mindset or changing your mindset as you're looking at these things. Something else um, you can do. Um, I want to talk about moments of solitude. Moments of solitude. This is something that most moms might not get a lot of. I know in my household, it's it's noisy all the time. The only reason it's quiet right now is because I'm here by myself. Um, and as soon as I go pick up my little ones, it's on. It's on, and it's not like it's moments of silence. It's just loud all the time. There's always noise. Sometimes my brother will call me and he'll say, "What is all that in the background?" He doesn't have children, so sometimes I'm able to tune it out, but I'm like, yeah, it is kind of loud, is it? He's like, yeah, like what are they doing? It sounds like a gang of people. There's only two of them, everybody. There's only two kids in here, but it sounds like a whole crowd of people. They're just that active and that loud and that noisy. And my husband makes fun of me because I think he's loud too, if you ask me. Um, and I didn't grow up in a loud household, so all the noise all together, I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, please be quiet. And of course, I rarely say that because there's no use. If that, that's just the way it is. They're going to be loud. But finding the moments of solitude, like right now, or I wake up early in the morning before everybody gets up, and I find the moment of solitude. And what do? Clear your head, clear your thoughts. For some reason, this is difficult for me to do because my mind is everywhere. When I tell you everywhere, everywhere, I'm thinking about, okay, what time, when they get up, then we got to do this. Then we got to get this ready. Then, this errand to run. And then before that, I have to do this. And you're like making a list. And then, okay, what are we eating for dinner tonight? And then let's see, this person's got to go here. That person's got to go there. And then when we come together, oh, tomorrow we're going to, and it's not like I can stop it today. I'm thinking about everything, everywhere, all the time. Thinking about things I didn't do the day before. Um, Thinking about an event coming up. And so I have to pull myself back and say, Angela, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. Get through this first, then you can think about that. Get through this deadline, and then you can think about the next deadline. Prioritize, which is the word for the day anyway, and just think about it. Think about it, do it slowly. So, those moments of solitude, try to make sure it's actual solitude. Because guess what? The noise around you can stop, but you need to silence the noise in your head. That's difficult for me, but it's possible. It's possible. And again, I talk about that, um, in my masterclass in more detail. But that is of the utmost importance. Another thing that I do you have to take time to um, reflect and to pray. And praying is something that for those of you who know me, I take my faith very seriously. And so including God in my day and in my life is so important. And usually I include him not just in the moments of solitude, but even throughout the day. And prayer gets you so much. Um, it can relax you in times of um, stressful situations, tense situations, in times of confusion when you're not sure what to do or where to go, um, in times of just anything. In the Bible it says pray without ceasing. I can see that. I totally can see that because every moment of the day, when you come upon something, just consult God. Consult God. That's so important. And then you reflect on your life, reflect on things that occurred, reflect on how to improve yourself. And in conjunction with that, journaling. Some people, journaling is something that they just don't want to do. And I've heard people say that, I don't want to journal. And I'm not going to force you to journal, but can I just tell you the benefits of journaling, of writing down your thoughts? It doesn't have to be formal. It could just be a couple sentences if you don't want to do paragraphs. For me, when I write, I'm a writer, so I'm going to write, you know, and I can't remember the last time I actually sat down and wrote like I really want to. But I will tell you how beneficial it is because you feel so much better, especially if you're getting your thoughts out of your head. You feel like a burden has been lifted. And I'll tell you what else for journals. Remember, I talked about praying. You could also write out your prayers in a journal. I have a prayer journal, and you can write out your thoughts of how you want to say something to God. He knows anyway. But when you're writing it, it almost makes you feel better. It almost makes you feel like I got something off my chest, and that is a way of communicating with God. I'll tell you this: journaling is how I wrote my first book. That book that I keep talking about, the devotional book, that came right out of a journal. It came out of a journal, that thoughts that I accumulated over a certain period of time. I would say even a couple of years. And I formulated those thoughts into a book. And I encourage people, because it's a devotional journal, and you can journal after the devotional. So um, I encourage everyone to do that. It is so, so helpful. So, what did we talk about so far? A lot of different things, and I can't cover everything within this segment, but I'm talking about prioritizing yourself, making yourself a priority. So, we talked about self awareness, we talked about taking the time to celebrate you, we talked about seeking solitude, some of the things you could do while you're in solitude, clearing your thoughts, praying, reflecting. Some people meditate, deep breathing, things of that nature that assist you in just settling yourself so you can start your day, so you can continue with your day. You can even do this in the middle of the day if you have a moment. But all of those things will allow you to prioritize yourself. And lastly, I just want to mention this one other point, and that is be careful what you put in your body. And I'm talking about food, drink. I'm also talking about what you watch on TV, what you read in a book, what you spend your time absorbing, whether it's coming in through your eyes, whether it's coming in through your mouth, it's going into your body. And so, even your ears, the music you listen to, you would be surprised. And that's a whole segment. I'm just thinking of all kinds of topics for future shows. It would be amazing. There's research out there that shows, and I'm telling you from personal experience, the music that you listen to, and you have to excuse me because I'm congested, but the show must go on, right? The music you listen to, whether it's upbeat, whether it's slow, the lyrics that you listen to have a lot to do with not just the mood for that moment, but also how the day is going to proceed and how you're going to view things and how you're going to handle things. Just that simple. A lot of times I'll hear people say, you know what, I like to listen to something motivational in the morning. That's perfect. You want to get your day off to a right start. I'm all about that. Even if it's standing in front of the mirror and saying your affirmations, that's you talking to yourself. Again, prioritizing yourself, and you are speaking life into yourself. What you read, same thing. What is it serving you? What purpose is it serving you? And is it helping you or is it hurting you? And you really have to think about this for a second. You know, something that you might find enjoyable might not be the best thing for you. Same thing with food. I'm not going to give you a health lesson right now, but I'm telling you, I feel a lot better when I don't eat the donut in the morning. Not that I have donuts here, but let's just say I go out somewhere and they've got a whole plate of donuts. Yes, I want to dig right in. And I've done that before. But all of a sudden, mid morning, you start feeling a little bit like, I wish I had not eaten that donut or two and washed it down with a cup of something else that was so sugary. That stuff is not good for you. Sucks the energy level right out of you. Instead, think of healthy choices. And I can go on about that, but again, we're just talking about prioritizing self and some of the ways that you can do that. And um, exercise is another thing. And that's all part of the health. It matters. It matters. Even if you go for a walk, a brisk walk, get yourself moving, do a little bit of cardio, lift some weights. You don't have to go to the gym, You can stay right in your home and do something for just a couple minutes a day. And I'm talking to myself because I've slacked off a little bit, so I need to get back at it. But it really makes a difference, your energy level and just health wise altogether. So I hope you learned something today about prioritizing yourself and some of the steps that you can use to do that. But I want to tell you, most of you know that I am a life coach for moms. And one of the things that I love to do is encourage other moms because we are all on the same playing field. And when I say that, because all of us have different situations, but we can all unite and bond because we are mothers and we know what it's like. And instead of tearing each other down or criticizing each other, judging each other, let's encourage each other, let's empower each other. So, one of the things I focus on, getting moms to the next level. A lot of us have dreams in our heart that we do not do anything with. They just sit there and almost bore a hole in us because I wish I could do this. I really want to do XYZ, but we just don't have the nerve. Well, um, schedule a free consultation with me and I will show you how to get to the next level. It's www.chatwithcoachangela. Let's try that again. www.chatwithcoachangela.com. Schedule a free consultation with me and I will get you to the next level. I will meet you where you are and get you to the next level. And we can talk about it going through my program on how to get your dream realized and how to do it while you're taking care of your family. That's the key, right? A lot of us think, oh, I can't do it with the kids. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I'm doing it now. And I want to show you how. And lastly, if you like what you see on these episodes here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do want to say this as a disclaimer. If you've gone out to my YouTube channel and you didn't see any of the videos, that's my fault. I'm an amateur when it comes to YouTube. I really am. I thought all I had to do was stream and it would be fine. No, 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 no. YouTube doesn't configure your page. You have to. So the videos were actually going somewhere else on the channel, like under live, under different categories. Now, if you go out there, everything that I've ever posted since April when I launched this show is right there on my YouTube channel. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's just a big old subscribe button. Click on it. You'll be notified when all of these broadcasts. It's every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And the YouTube channel is at The Angela Anderson Show. I'm also on Spotify, the audio version. Right now we're on episode 9, I believe. And so the next season, I will probably switch to video on Spotify. I didn't realize that they can do that, and they can. So now that it's available, I think I might take advantage of that. So it won't be just audio. You're actually going to see this same thing on Spotify, that you see on YouTube, and that is also streamed live on my Facebook profile and in the group. If you're in my mom group called Get Your Life on Track, Walking Your Purpose, you're going to see this same video. So that is it for today. Again, I am so glad that you are here and that you have stayed with me. And I hope you've learned something today. Until next time, take care.